I have a pretty simple life at the end of the day. I care about the people I interact with. I care about my family. I care about everything I do in my life. And I think that when you live with purpose, you find a sport that you love, you're passionate for, the rest comes easy.
Welcome to Unstoppable at Any Age. I'm Dr. Shawna Darou, naturopathic doctor, master's athlete, and founder of a global movement helping women train for their future health. This podcast exists for one reason: to expand what you believe is possible with age. Each week, I sit down with women who are redefining the trajectory of their lives, athletes, scientists, founders, and leaders who are continuing to build strength, performance, and momentum in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Along the way, we explore the science of metabolic health, movement, and longevity, and the daily decisions that protect your brain, your body, and your future. Because how you move today determines how you live tomorrow. This is Unstoppable at Any Age. And today I'm joined by Clara Northcott. Clara is a world-ranked masters athlete competing in her 70s with over 4 decades of running, more than 50 marathons, including 11 Boston marathons, and multiple national and international medals across track, cross-country, and road racing. Beyond competition, Clara has built a remarkable career in communications and leadership and is the founder of the World Masters Athletic Gallery of Champions, an initiative recognizing athletes who are making an impact both in sport and in their communities. She brings a rare combination of discipline, longevity, and purpose to everything she does. And this conversation is going to inspire. I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. First of all, I wanted to say that you are the most disciplined and committed athlete that I know, and it's inspiring for me to see how committed to your training you are, and especially how consistent. So I can't wait to have this conversation with you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about this. It should be some fun.
We both love to talk about training, so this should be
Yeah,
easy, right? And running.
training, running.
Racing. So, when most people think about exercising and training in their 70s, they're thinking about just staying active, and you're still competing. Tell the audience here what you're currently training for.
Oh my God, this has been a big year. Every year is a big year, but this year in particular, like I've got three major championships lined up for starting in July and going all the way up to the Worlds in South Korea. And in July and in mid-July, I'm going to the US Track and Field Masters Outdoor Championships. And that's going to be from the 15th of July until the 20th. And then a few days later, I go to Laval, Quebec for the Canadian National Outdoor Championships. That's happening in July 31st to August 2nd. And so I'll be back August 3rd. And then it's all guns go to train for the Worlds. And I go through Japan. So I'm flying through, I leave Toronto on the 18th of August. And I won't be home until September 8th because after the Worlds, I'm going to Japan for a few days. I've never been there, and this is my only chance. I don't think I would be able to go back there.
That is amazing. So, three major competitions this summer. What distances will you be racing?
I don't usually race the 800 at the outdoors, but who knows? Maybe I'll race it this year. I haven't registered yet because I still have some time and I have to make a decision what I'm doing. I usually at the outdoor worlds, I've been doing the half marathon and we have medaled for Team Canada age 60. So I usually come down to younger women because there's not a lot of athletes competing at our age categories in the 60s, 70s and higher. The half marathon is still a consideration, but I usually do the 5,000 at outdoors, the 1,500. And if I'm lucky to get into a relay, that's always a lot of fun. I've participated in Canadian relays, and that's a lot of fun to race for Canada and being able to up the pace so that you can pass a country. It's a lot of fun. I hope that I'll have a chance to do that in South Korea.
Wow, that's just incredible. I'm so inspired by you. And I don't think I'll be going to Worlds
I'm
this year.
inspired. I'm inspired by you because I always train behind you.
You got a few years on me, so I should be a little bit faster, I hope. Tell me about a typical week of training, just so that people can get an idea of your commitment to working out and running and training, because I think you train more than I do. What's a typical week look like with your schedule?
Well, my training has changed in the last few years. I was always very committed to my sport, but ever since I've been going to the US track and field Masters championships for the last few years. I think since 2014, 15. It's been a while.
Hmm,
And I love going there because I always have like about 8, 10 women in my age category, at very minimum six, but usually, which is many more than in Canada.
that's right.
I'm usually by myself in my age category. Don't usually race by myself, but I'm racing with other women from younger age categories. Going to the States, I always medaled. I never came home without a medal, but my goal was always to win a gold medal. So last year was very exciting because I had turned 70, and my goal was this year I had already gotten two silvers and one bronze, or two bronze, but last year I really wanted to come home with gold. So I came home with two gold and one silver. And the silver I brought home was actually in a 400 meter, which is not at all my distance.
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
it was very exciting to actually cross the finish line in my race a couple of times. And so since that happened, and then that was in late February, in late March, I went back to the same track for the Worlds. And I didn't get any gold, but I got two silver, one in cross country, one in 1500 meters, and then I got a silver in a bronze in a 3000. So that was incredible for me because I had never won individual medal. I had
Hmm.
won team medals at the Worlds, but never individual medals. So I was really excited, and being at the Worlds and being at the US indoors, it was just so significant to me and emotional. And I really feel like I experienced probably the pinnacle of all my training for this year is 46 years. And so last year being the 45th year was really meaningful to me. I feel like I accomplished the most, cumulatively speaking. And so when I came home, I decided that I was going to be even more committed to my training, and I was going to do some of the things that I had been procrastinating over the years, and that is like more core. I started doing the stairs in my building at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. So now I don't just run, I go spinning, which I've been doing now for the last couple of years regularly. Sometimes I go 4 times a week, 5 times a week even. So running is it's like several times a week. I might take the odd day off, but might be one day a week off from
Hmm.
running. But I'm always doing two spinning and running the same day. Or if I don't go spinning that day, I'll go running and I'll do the stairs and I'll go to the gym and do the weights. So I'm always doing something, even when I do my shifts to care for our mother who's turning 101 May 2nd. I'm doing like my mom is sitting there watching TV, her religious programs, and I'm on the floor doing my push-ups. I'm actively doing things that I know are going to enhance my sport. So I'm very committed that way. And I've said on occasion to people that if you want to be like the best, you got to train like the best. And
Hmm.
this is what I'm focused on now.
Yeah,
So
so let's go back a little bit. So you've been running for 46 years now.
yeah.
That's an incredibly long stretch.
46 years this spring because I started
Yeah.
in the spring.
People don't believe that they can run that long. People don't believe that they should keep running past 40 sometimes. And there's all the theories that you're going to hurt your knees or you can't continue. I see so many great examples of women like you who continue to run and thrive in the sport. 46 years is an incredibly long stretch of running to still be competitive. And I love that you are peaking in your 70s in terms of your achievements. That's running, or I guess master sports are the only ones where we can't wait to age up to get
Yeah,
into a new age category.
I know.
It's
So
like,
that we
wait,
have a better chance of placing better.
I get a new one next year and I'm so excited.
Oh, it's funny, eh?
I
Like,
know.
who's
Uh,
afraid who's afraid of getting old?
it's a great way to shift your perspective of being
Yeah.
excited to get into the next age category and see how many medals you can bring home.
But I know why we feel that way because being athletes, we don't look our age.
True.
So we're not afraid of getting older because the other thing too, our sports make us feel better about ourselves in every sense of the
Yeah.
word, not just from a physical perspective, but also our self, just from a self-esteem. That's what I
Yes.
was trying to say.
No, and it gives you
Uh,
so much confidence in other areas of life as well.
yeah,
Yeah. Not to mention the health benefits, of course.
exactly. Yes.
So, why do you run like this? What's the reason behind it for you?
I've done a lot in my life. Like I've led so many different careers. I've owned my own business in public relations for about 25 years. I did 2 degrees while I was running my own business. That was not easy. It took me 14 years studying part-time, representing big brands of the world. And so I've always been very driven. And I think it's because I come from a family, a large family, and my mother was a real dynamo. She came to Canada ahead of my family, my father, and she couldn't speak a word of English. She gave up the wife of a diplomat, and she just came here, became a cleaning lady. And I have a lot to look up to. And my life has to be meaningful. My mother sacrificed a lot. So she's a big motivating factor for me, as is my brother Louis. He was an accomplished soccer player. He passed away from MS. And when I race and go to these big championships, I always think of the people who are driving me and like just basically all my fans. Like I have so many people in the sport who are so supportive and they always chat to me and they always talk about my grit and how I race in beast mode and all this. And we have so much fun with this chatter. So really, I'm very grateful and feel very blessed that I have so much that motivates me. And also, the biggest blessing was to find this sport that I connect so much and that I'm so passionate for. And of course, my family, I have 6 brothers, and they all ran. They still run, and they're very committed to the sport. I have a sister who's gone to Boston, I think 17 times. She's getting ready to go again. She
Right.
just came back from the Tokyo Marathon. So there's a lot of athletics in our family, so we motivate each other, and it's important. It's important in the family, you know.
Yeah, it's also, yeah, you mentioned a bit about this. The community inside the Masters track and field is quite incredible and something that I did not know existed from the outside. And the track meets are so supportive. You meet tons of people very easily, all like-minded. And I can imagine when you start traveling the world and meeting more people that it's even more expansive.
This is why I became involved with the World Masters Athletics. I've been a volunteer since 2015, but became more involved in 2018. And 2 years ago, this coming August, we launched, I'm part of the marketing communications committee. And this coming August, 2 years ago in August at Gothenburg, we launched an event called the World Masters Athletics Gallery of Champions, which I created and I presented it to the council and they really liked it. And what it is, it's a program that recognizes athletes who are champions in their sport as well as in their community. And that came about because I'm very committed to the community. Even when I had my business, I was part of the Fashion Group International. I was a contributor for 25 years, right along my company, the work I did for the company. I like to contribute. I've been on boards, different charitable organizations, and I think it's an important thing. So I wanted, through the WMA Gallery of Champions, I wanted to recognize, because it's hard enough to be a champion in one sport and also be one in a community, because people have busy lives.
Yes.
And to find the commitment to the community a value, I think that's to be recognized. So we recognized 11 athletes in Gothenburg at the WMA Outdoor Championships. And now we're inducting another 5 athletes in Daegu, South
Oh,
Korea, at the next WMA Outdoor Championship. So I'm very excited about that.
that's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that because it inspires more of us to take action as well outside of just competing. When you see what
Yeah,
other women or men are doing in the sport and in their communities, it helps to remind us that there's
I
so much that we can
know.
give back. And as we get older, it's so important to have purpose in our lives,
Exactly.
especially if
Yeah.
your main career, if you've retired or you've shifted or life
Yeah.
has changed in any way, like without purpose, it affects your physical and your cognitive wellness as well.
I'm married. We've been married for 46 years, but we didn't have children. So I can understand that some people who've had to raise children, it's another aspect of their lives that keeps their lives very busy. But even with children, I see people around me, like some of the athletes that we've inducted, they've got children and they still find time. We're always able to find some time to connect with someone who needs our support, to
Hmm.
encourage people. Like, I'm very fortunate that through my sport, I don't have to do a lot, and I see people being inspired and motivated by
Right.
my drive in the sport, and that makes me really happy. So sometimes it's not it's not how much you do it even thinking about it. It's just by our conduct, how we handle ourselves, like our passion in the sport. It can do so much for others.
Can, yes. And inspiring women to exercise and move their bodies at all ages is a big part of my mission. And it's part of this podcast as well. I see how much of a difference it's probably the number one thing that we can do for our longevity. And this podcast and this other movement that I'm creating are part of my impact as well. So I wanted to come back to your grit and beast mode because those really stand out. Grit, I've seen you show up practice after practice. I don't know. I forget how many flights of stairs you climb in your building for your workout. And the cross country championships last year were certainly a test of that grit. Tell me
Yeah,
more about that race. I went to the Ontario cross country race, but I didn't go to the Canadian one. I wimped out
oh,
because the weather looked
you
terrible.
missed a good one.
Tell me more about that
Well,
because that's
okay.
a very
So
good
when
expression.
the weather is really bad, like I've been doing cross country for a long time, and I have my former coach, Bert de Vries, to thank for for exposing me to cross country, because I love all aspects of running. I really do. But cross country feels very special to me. I think it's the connection of spikes on your feet to the ground. And when the weather is bad and the more mud, the better. I remember one race at Sunnybrook where it was so muddy that your feet actually went right into deep into the mud. And times like that, I like to think that I really am like a horse running through the mud. And that's just part of the whole mindset of running a great cross country race. So that race last year, it was a very important race for me because I had won the women's 70 plus race, which is 6 kilometer. I won it last year, and I really wanted to do well again. 2 years ago, I won it, and then last year, I wanted to win it again.
Yes.
So I had to really prepare for that race. I prepared in terms of my training, I prepared in terms of what I ate, mindset. I went to London days in advance just to get ready. And I also was going to have competition. I think I was going to have 5 or 6 people in my age category. But anyway, so everything went well. The race was very demanding because the weather was brutal. But We did it. I
Right, that was
got,
in November in London,
yeah, late
Ontario. The weather's not
November.
nice.
It's always late November. The weather is always very challenging. But I definitely have an ability to dig deep for grit and have no qualms about turning on beast mode in any racing scenario situation. And it felt good. It felt good when I finished.
I love that. It's so great that we can still be competitive. A
Yeah,
lot of people feel like that dies or it goes away at a certain age, but it honestly doesn't. There's always something to
no,
chase.
exactly. But we need to keep training so that when we race, we can give it our best and we are satisfied with the result.
So, how do you distinguish? Is it any different now compared to 10 or 20 years ago? The difference between pushing through discomfort and respecting your body, especially preventing injury? Is there a line there for you? Do you know where that is?
I've been fortunate that I haven't had a lot of, considering that this is my 46th year running, and I've always raced a lot. I remember when I first started running, I used to go out and do a 10K and 8K or 5K every single weekend. I do one of those race distances. And then I started running marathons and I did like over 50 marathons. So I've been doing a lot of racing from the very beginning. Like I think I took the one winter off, the first winter, but then I was like training right through the years. So in terms of the injuries, I've had like probably five serious injuries where I was off running for 3 or 4 months. The very last one was the worst, and I was off 8 months. That was really difficult. But that didn't prevent me from still doing some activities. I used to go a lot to my gym. I
Mhm.
was swimming, I was walking. I've had a lower back injury the last 3 days. I went walking the last 3 days. I went 6 kilometers walking. Yesterday, I walked for 8 kilometers and I still went spinning. I just can't run because the impact and the
Okay.
movement of going up and down. I'm very mindful in terms of not overdoing it. And I'm much more careful now if I feel some pain and discomfort, I back off. I also, after having my 8 month injury, it was a knee injury, an injured, oh my God, something in my knee.
Mhm.
And I had to do some research and find out what kind of supplements I could have to prevent that from happening was the meniscus tears.
Okay.
And so I've been on this supplement. It's really good. I can tell you. It's a CanPrev Joint Pro. It's a liquid supplement, and I take it regularly. And it's really helped. I also take hyaluronic acid liquid.
Mm.
So liquid is better than gel caps or anything like that. But I find that this has worked for me. I'm not sponsored by these people. I'm saying it because if somebody has the same type of injury and they want to give it a try, this has really helped. It's worked for me. But I listen to my body a lot more now because I'm
Mhm.
training. I'm doing so much more. Like
That's great.
when I do the stairs in my building, it's about 304 steps, 19 flights, and I try to do it under 3 minutes. And my
You set your
husband,
timer. I love that. You
yeah,
set your
I
watch.
do because I don't want to do it any more than 3 minutes because I know I've done it in 2:46. So if anything, I'd like to see it going even faster. I asked my husband the other day and I said, how fast do you think the elevator can get up to the 19th floor? And he said, I don't know, maybe 1 minute. But I don't think so. I think that because I don't know, I think that I'm not too far off the elevator. The elevator probably takes more than a minute. It's 19 floors.
It's
So
a great example of beast mode.
yeah,
19
really.
floors. Oh my goodness. And how often do
I,
you do this? Once a week, twice a week?
I try to do minimum once a week,
Yeah.
and I try to do it at least two, but once a week if I can do it in more time. But I have to tell you that when I get to the top, I'm completely out of breath. And if you can imagine me leaning against the wall with both my palms on the sides, and I'm just like trying to catch my breath
I
because
should hope
and
so. That's
and
19
I
flights.
can. And I really can't run like for the whole, I start running, but then I'm resorted to just walking very fast up the stairs.
That's pretty awesome.
It's
I mean, I'm
demanding.
I'm hoping I'm setting challenges for myself in my 70s like that.
It's demanding physically for sure.
Okay, so you don't push through discomfort as much. You're mindful of injuries. You're careful with beast mode so that you don't hurt yourself. So, are there any costs to this commitment? It sounds like this brings you joy and satisfaction and confidence. Are there any downsides to the level of commitment that you have to your sport right now?
There are things about that I would like to do more. I have a Master of Arts degree. I'd like to be able to go to exhibitions more often. And I mean, there comes a time where you have to stick to the things that where your passion is. And sport is a big passion of mine. And if I have to
Mhm.
train to as much as I do to be satisfied with the results, so be it. I
Right.
mean, I also have to spend time with my mom. We have a large family, but we have shifts to go and be with our mother. We don't like to leave her alone for too long. She might be alone for a half an hour when we can't coordinate all the shifts. But
Okay.
for most of the time, she's with someone and she's doing fantastic. She's even better this year than last year. She's doing really well. And that's because we're very sociable with her. We take her for walks. We watch TV with her, motivate her to stay in shape, to make her go for the daily walks,
It's
you know.
fantastic.
We're very lucky. She did a lot for us, and we are who we are because of her. She says, "Oh, you guys do so much for me." And I said, "Mom, it's our turn now to give to you because you've done so much." The whole thing about her coming to Canada, I'm telling you, that was a big one. She was a
Was
pioneer coming to Canada ahead of her whole family with their
so,
two youngest kids.
that's so inspiring. So, if you are thinking about a woman who is starting to train, maybe she's in her 50s or her 60s and she wants to get back into sport, what would you say to her?
What I would say, I remember when I stepped outside my house at the time I was living in High Park, and it took a while for me to, I was smoking at the time, I had to give it up. I started running right after I gave up smoking. I couldn't do it, so I had to wait like a couple of months to do some aerobics regularly. And then I finally was able to step out. And I remember going for a run and looking behind me to see if anybody was watching me. And God, when I think back to that day, I can't believe I've come so far. I
Yeah.
never would have expected that I was going to be this committed and achieve this much. So I think that whoever starts, don't wait for tomorrow. Start today is the best day. And all it takes is just to put one foot in front of the other, whatever it is. It may not be running, it might be something else. Going to
Yes.
the gym, taking up spinning, whatever, swimming, whatever you find that you like. Try different things and just stick with it. Just really be disciplined to stick with it. You can start just once, twice, three times a week and then increase the times, make it more regularly. All I can say is that it pays off immensely. It's going to increase your self-esteem. It just makes you feel so much better about yourself, and it encourages you, motivates you to do other things, do more for the community. And people will notice that.
Yeah, it does so much for your energy too, right? So if
Yeah,
you're
energy.
feeling tired and
Yes, exactly.
unmotivated, getting more active improves that. It's not the other way
Yeah.
around.
Do it for yourself to be able to help others even more.
So, what do you think women misunderstand about what their bodies are capable over age 60?
I don't think of myself as a 70-year-old woman because I know that I am out of the norm. Most people think I'm in my 50s. I've even had people say that I was in my late 40s,
That's great.
if that's possible. But I definitely don't feel like I'm 70. And I know my body doesn't doesn't feel like I'm a 70-year-old woman. And I'll be the first one to tell people that I'm 70 because I want them to understand that even though I'm 70, I look the way I do and I'm this fit, but I
Hmm.
work for it too.
You do.
I encourage other women in whatever stage of the game you're at. You could be even not a master yet, but one day you're going to become a master. And the sooner you start doing some kind of activity, the better it will be for you, and you will never regret it. I think the trick is when you start an activity, you have to take it easy. You have to
Right.
take, I remember when I came back to running after my 8-month injury, I asked our coach, Paul Osland, to give me a program. And he gave me a program like if I was starting for the first
Yes.
time. And I didn't have to do that schedule of walking 10 minutes, running. I think it was like walking 2 minutes, running 2 minutes, not
Mm.
even that much. I know it was very little.
Yes.
And I didn't have to keep that up for very long. And I was like back to running without stopping and walking. But it's very important that if you start something new, you take it gradually and make sure you have the right shoes.
Yes.
For gym, running, whatever, it's important to have the right shoes. Go and speak to someone who knows, a specialist, and to help you choose the shoes for you or the way you run, whether you are a pronator, supinator, or if you're just a forward runner. How can I say? Neutral.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure artificial intelligence could tell anyone. You can go and ask AI for a little bit of help, and they'll tell you exactly what you can do, just give you some guidance. But we have so much available, so much information available
Yes.
to ourselves now when we start doing something new. It's incredible.
Yeah, I've noticed in the like masters track and field community, there are a lot of women who come back into sport into their 50s and
Yeah.
some even in their 60s who are starting. So it isn't too late, especially if you're joining a club or a team and you have coaching and
Yeah.
guidance.
Many of
Yeah,
them come back after they've risen their children. We have our teammate, Anna Gregory. She used to be a runner and she just came back after raising her kids. So, and she's doing so well, eh?
she's doing great. I know.
Yeah.
I didn't run for 20 years as well. I came back at 48 and then
See?
just joined this team recently
Yeah.
after doing a few marathons.
Yeah, I was doing many marathons before I joined the track club, but I just love track and I still do half marathons and some road races, 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers. I really enjoy that.
It's nice to have the variety and different community and different challenges. I'm really loving the track stuff as well right now after doing a bunch of road racing for a few years.
Yeah.
It's more stimulating, and I quite like a race that's done in a few minutes instead of a few hours.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. The 800 meter or 400 meters is definitely better than 25 laps around the track or
Oh my
5,000 meters.
goodness. I haven't
Or
tried that yet.
or last year I did the 10K outdoors, which is 25 laps, but on a
Ooh,
400-meter track. That's tough.
yeah, that's a lot of laps.
Yeah, it
My
is,
goodness,
but
it's a good mental game.
yeah, leave it to me.
Yes, of course. You'll do the one that takes the most
Oh
grit.
God, definitely beast mode.
Beast mode. So at this stage, what matters more to you, performance or impact, or are they both equal?
What do you mean impact?
I would say impact in the community, impact in your life, impact in inspiration. I suppose there's overlap, right?
Yeah, I think they're both very important and I think they both work. They're intertwined because the better you do performance wise, the better you're also the more you're gonna impact.
It's true.
Because a lot of people may not notice you until you are performing well. With me, it's taken a while, but I've been around for a long time, so a lot of people know me, that's for sure. And I'm making a lot of friends when I go to the States. I really enjoy. And with the Gallery of Champions at WMA, that's been really helpful to me to make really great friendships with some of the athletes that are inducted. I've met a lot of wonderful athletes that have great stories to tell. And what you were saying before about masters athletes, it's so true. You have so many opportunities to for camaraderie. And every time we go to have you gone to the Worlds yet?
No, I just joined in
Yeah.
November.
You
Not
will
yet.
notice when you go to the Worlds, it's really a wonderful experience to connect with other masters athletes. You make so many friends. It's a huge celebration going to the Worlds. It's so riveting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what are you currently training for this summer? So, this summer, the big goal is Worlds and getting a gold in an individual race.
Yeah, I started getting individual medals last year at indoors in Florida for the Worlds. I have not gotten individual medals at the Worlds outdoor, so that's definitely a goal of mine to get individual medals. At this point, I'm not even caring about what color medal.
Okay,
I just want to train, not get injured, and just continue. I think that if I continue with my training right now, doing the stairs, going to the gym, going spinning, going to my workouts, doing the long run on Sundays, I think that's a good plan. And hopefully that will earn me some medals at the Worlds. Hopefully, I'll get some medals at the US
yes,
outdoors. That'll be a good experience because I've never been to the US Masters outdoors. It's always been indoors. And one of the reasons I haven't gone really, it's because I can't really do a lot of traveling. I have a limited budget, but it's also very hot. It happens in July and it's always very hot.
and you're
So,
doing
but
distance running, so it's a lot different than
yeah.
doing a sprint in the heat.
But this year, it's important for me to go because South Korea is very hot. So I'm going to the US because I just want to get acclimatized
Right.
my body. So I'm doing that, and I'm also going to to the Canadian Nationals. So that'll be hot too because it's at the end of it's even later in July than
Right.
the US Masters. And then of course the Worlds in Daegu, which is going to be very hot.
So,
Here it's
heat
very hot.
acclimatization.
Yes.
What do you hope women take from watching how you live and compete right now?
I have a pretty simple life at the end of the day. I care about the people I interact with. I care about my family. I care about everything I do in my life. And I think that when you live with purpose, you find a sport that you love, you're passionate for, the rest comes easy. You just have to commit to it and believe in yourself. God forbid. You really have to believe in
Hmm.
yourself and have dreams and prepare to covet those dreams. Because when you prepare, you believe in yourself, anything's possible. Everything's
It's
possible.
true. It's never too late to dream big.
But you have to understand what you have to do, what's at stake, what you have to give up. If you have a dream and whatever you give up is going to pay off in the end. That's,
Of course. And that it brings you joy and satisfaction and
yeah,
accomplishment and inspiration to other women. So, what does unstoppable at any age mean to you?
God. I don't even think about my age really. Whatever I want to do, I just propel myself to do it. I don't let my age prevent me from doing it. I just focus on the things like prevent injury. So listen to your body. I listen to my body more than I think about my age
Fantastic.
because I just have to avert any prevent injury so that I can continue to do the sport that I love because I'm very passionate. I just love it. I During my runs, I have certain points in some courses where they've become so meaningful to me. Like there's this one place I swear there's something special about it. It's very spiritual. Every time I run by there, it's almost like a little alcove in Oakville. And every time I run by there, I feel pulled to go into that little alcove. And that's my chance to meditate.
Yes.
And if I want to do well at a particular race, if I'm training for a meet, or I just put it out there in the world,
Hmm.
in the universe. But that's just the way I am. I believe in the universe, and I believe that it's always there to support me. I have a lot of people who really believe in me and support me. And I'm very lucky that way. I'm very grateful. You have to be grateful for whatever blessings come your way in life.
This
Yeah.
grit that you've built must carry through in a lot of other areas in life as well.
Oh, yes, I've had to dig deep for grit many times in my life. I've had many challenges in my life, and I'm glad you mentioned that because this is important for me to say. I say this sometimes, but I feel bad saying it because my mother raised me a Catholic, and I still go to church with my mom. We go on Sundays, but just to really just to say exactly how important running, how meaningful running has become to me, I usually say, I was raised a Catholic and now I'm a runner. So running is like a religion to me, really. It
Mm.
is. It's with me every day of my life. It brings me lots of great happiness, great joy. And yeah, I can think of, I will always run. And
Yeah.
this is why I need to listen to my body because this is why I don't do marathons anymore because I am 70 and I want to preserve my body for as long as I can. So I'm not saying that I will never run another marathon, but I would love to go back to Boston. I have great memories of my 11 Boston marathons. But in the last few ones, I was getting a little bit dissatisfied with my results when I was putting in so much work into it.
Right.
Half marathons are pretty good for me at this point, anyway.
No, I like them better. They're not as hard on the body in terms of the
Um,
recovery and the pain and
yeah, and they're
yeah.
still great. They're still
Yes.
great to do a
Yes.
marathon, a half marathon.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate this conversation. And I think you've inspired many women with how accomplished you are in the sport. If somebody wanted to follow how you're racing this year or see your accomplishments or check you out, is there some way they can find you online?
Oh, yes, I'm on Facebook and I'm also on Instagram under Clara Northcott.
Awesome. So I will put those links in the show notes as well, because I think after this episode, people are going to be checking out your races this summer.
Whatever. I'm happy to motivate anyone who wants to follow me or wants to ask me any questions. Honestly, please. Yeah,
That's so
happy to
great.
help.
Yes. So thank you again. I really appreciate this conversation. And you can follow Clara online and see how she's doing this summer with all of her really big races. And we'll be all cheering you on.
Thank you so much, Sean. It was fun.
Yes.
Okay.
If this conversation expanded what you believe is possible, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, follow the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. This podcast is part of a global movement called Women Who Move, helping women train for their future health through daily movement. You can join us at drshawnadarou.com. Because strength isn't behind you, it's built through what you choose to do next. I'm Dr. Shawna Darou, and this is Unstoppable at Any Age.